What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P, back here once again. You already know what it is. When you see me in front of TV, one thing is for certain and three things are for sure. Number one is the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. Number two, we came to give you stats and not none of that static. Number three, and perhaps the most important number of them all, number three, we want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's a very simple process, and I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you right now. You must first smash like button, then subscribe, then share. And if you want to do it in a different order, it doesn't matter. As long as you've done it, you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. And speaking of sharing, sharing is caring. So when you share this stream with your mothers, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews, your aunties, your mothers, your fathers, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your sisters, you name it, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people. What up, though, everybody in the chat? What up, though, Brent DeWitt? What up, though, Will Murray? What up, though, everyone who is lurking and who ain't talking? We will see y'all in a bit. And for those of you who will be coming in, straggling in a little bit late, we've got some things to talk about today. We're going to talk about trap games. Okay, we've got at least some audio. I don't know if we'll be able to get the video, but we've got some audio from Dan Campbell. We've got an article that talks about the Detroit Lions and their history with trap games as far as Dan Campbell and his regime are concerned. Let me see what we got. We're going ahead, we got to do what we got to do. We got to pop out the chat. And I raise up out the chat. Okay. Hashtag, if you know, use the hashtag. Brent DeWitt says, oops, did I forget to say F the teddy bears? LOL. What up, though, Will Murray? Okay. KA Press always got somebody around. Somebody around. You might need to check out your environment, Kate. All right. So we're gonna get into some Lions talk today. And we've got a Alim McNeill update. We've got, hey man, we're gonna get it going today. All right. So let me just first off give y'all the Alim McNeill update because it is very what would you say? It is very short. It's not a whole lot different. But they started Alim McNeill's clock today. Okay. DJ Reed is on the IR. Okay. So I believe he'll have to miss at least 4 weeks. And that was the time frame for him to miss anyway, 4 to 5 weeks. So now we'll talk a little bit about what Alim McNeill had to say. Okay. So we've got an article from, let's see, Detroit Lions on SI, John Macaron, the doc, you already know, friend of the show. Shout out to him and all the work that he does. He says, it just felt normal. This is a quote from Lions DL. Can't wait to return. Detroit Lions defensive lineman Alim McNeill put in so much hard work to rehab from a torn ACL that he felt his very first practice of 2025 was routine. As I said, they started his clock today, meaning he practiced. It feels great because of the work we put in here with Josh Schuler and Brett Fisher, Fish, and everybody, said McNeill. And the work I was getting before I came back for that OTA period with physical therapist Derek Samuel and everything. The way we work out is, I'd say it's about 2 to 3 times harder than practice. So when I came in, it just felt normal. Today, I didn't get that many reps, but I got a good amount of reps and I got to feel how everything felt. And it felt great. I wasn't gassed or anything like that. So everything felt good. We've been putting in work. Though, so I expect to feel that way. When asked, McNeill does not have a set target date to return to action for Dan Campbell's squad. His goal currently is to practice hard and to put on tape enough to show the coaching staff he can be trusted to produce. I'm just taking it day by day, practice by practice right now. And we're talking about practice. We talking about practice, not the game. Not the game. We talking about practice. What we talking about, man? We talking about practice. I know I'm a leader. I know I was supposed to be there, but we talking about practice. Y'all see me play the game, right? All right. Hashtag if you know, you know, use the hashtag. And just putting good film putting good tape out there to let them know that I'm good to go, said McNeil. So no, I don't have a target date myself, but I can't wait till it is. The former third round pick recently expressed he felt he was over 90% healthy and could be called upon if the team really needed him. He indicated he has just been throwing numbers out there, but really feels he has been much more in tune with his body. I was just kind of throwing numbers out there then, but that's just being in tune with my body. It is just something I've been trying to hone in on and kind of pay attention to more, said McNeil. As the years have gone on with me being a pro, it's just that's what you have to do. If you want to be good, you have to be available. So I had to tune in to what was going on everywhere. Shoulders, chest, knees, hamstrings, everything. That was just me trying to be more professional. Okay, so it's talking about, if you don't know, this, he was asked recently about how he felt. He said about 93%. So this is what he is alluding to. So in meeting rooms, the former third-round pick has been enjoying learning from Casey Rogers, the team's new defensive line coach. Entering his 5th NFL season, the talented defender expressed the defense has been gaining a deeper knowledge of the entire scheme and what occurs with the linebackers unit and secondary can be used for additional leverage when battling opposing offenses. It hasn't been hard at all. Coach Casey's a teacher. He's a teacher through and through, said McNeil. It really is not hard to get on the wave that he's running and learning. Getting info from him has been the greatest thing. It's been great this year. The meetings have been very entertaining. It's been fun with everybody. The camaraderie is good, and we're learning ball in there, McNeil added, we're learning why we're doing this, what's going on behind us, and that stuff. You don't have to take it all in, whatever, but it's just little nuggets here and there. All right, so that was Alim McNeill on his return to practice and basically the process that he has been undergoing as he comes back from the torn ACL. So he's good to go. It looks like we will get him back before the bye, making sure that we don't have any setbacks, right? No setbacks from the return to from the injury. Hopefully he finishes out the season healthy. Okay, because one of the things that has become an elephant in the room. So Brenda Wood says, great to hear that the Mac attack is coming back sooner than later. Facts. But one of the things that has become the elephant in the room with Alim McNeill is injury history. What was it? 2 years ago, he missed 5 games because of I think it was an MCL sprain. Then last year, of course, he didn't finish the season. He played most of the season, but tore his ACL against Buffalo. So he's been this is his 5th season he's coming into. So the last 2 seasons, right? His 3rd and his 4th season, he missed significant time, the 4th season he didn't really miss significant time because that was the end, but he missed significant time, 5 games in his 3rd season. Okay, I think season 2 he might have had some sort of injury, right? But this is now becoming a narrative, so we need to make sure that he finishes this season healthy. Okay, because we don't want to get into a situation where you're going, oh, well, can you trust him and his health? Okay, it's the same situation with Marcus Davenport. It's not about the ability of the player, but it is about health. Now, Marcus Davenport is an extreme. It's an extreme because it's an extreme situation. Marcus Davenport can't finish the season without having a brief stint on IR or missing games here and there and everywhere, or just missing the season entirely. Like, okay, we played the first 3 games and now we're out. Or we played the first 2 games and now we're out and we can't finish the season. We can't come back. It's season ending. So this is the situation where we don't want to have happen with Alim McNeill. What up, though, Tactical Sport? All right, let's see. Let's see. I know I can get the audio in here. Let's see how quickly I can get the video in here. Because I just want you to hear it from Dan Campbell. Also, I'd like you to see it. I'd like you to see him talking. But if not, if it's going to take too long, then we'll just go ahead and nix it. And next time I'll have it more queued up. All right, so we'll go ahead and save it. That's not necessary. That one I already talked about that one. Okay, so I didn't send the other one. I thought I did. Wait. Okay, no. Here we go. All right. So look, I'm gonna play it, and you guys just let me know if you can hear the audio. Can y'all hear the desktop audio? Because I can hear it. So y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can hear it. And if you can't hear it, then there's no point in me trying to go through any of this. Let's see here. Nah, I'll just get, you can't hear it? Okay. All right, I'll just play it from here, from my phone, and then we'll just have the audio playing. Okay. So I'll read the article first, and then we'll pull up the audio. Because if y'all can't hear it, like I said, there's no point in me going through the stream. Brad Loves injured, says Dolo Dynamite. That's a fact. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact. All right. So now, why are the Detroit Lions no longer susceptible to trap games? It's a trap. It's a trap. Now, I told you before that Dan Campbell talked about when we were playing the Browns, right? So they asked him about trap games then. And he said that when he used to play for Bill Parcells, right? He would come in the room, come in the facility whenever Bill thought that it was going to be one of those types of games. Then he would have mouse traps everywhere. So hence the mouse trap on the thumbnail. So he said he doesn't believe that he has to do that with this team. So we're going to see what he had to say. Let's see, put this over here. What up, though, Mark Garcia? Long time, man. All right. So it says why Dan Campbell and the Lions don't overlook any opponents since the last time they did. This is A to Z Sports, Mike Payton. He says, man, the vibes were just unreal during this time. You were there. You remember. The Detroit Lions are really good these days, but will you ever feel about them the way that you did in 2022? After a 1-6 start, the Lions just started doing crazy things and they could not stop winning. They went on this 6-1 run and then they got to 500 and everyone was talking about the playoffs and they were a real thing for sure. All the Lions had to do was beat a bad team. Then it happened. The Lions lost to the Carolina Panthers in 2022, had to have left some scars and changed the way the team goes about trap games. Trap games. It's a trap. The Lions went into the game favored. There was confidence around the building. There was confidence among the fans and media too. This was supposed to be a big win. The win that took the Lions from the 1-6 team to a team with a winning record, a team that was headed towards a wild card spot. Then the Lions walked into Carolina and got absolutely wrecked 37-23. That game wound up being costly, even though the Lions won the next two games and closed out the season with a 9-8 winning record. They missed the playoffs because they had to rely on the Rams, and the Rams lost their game and gave the Seahawks a spot. The Lions have been such a better team since then. They won 12 games in 2023 and then 15 in 2024. They've largely taken care of business against bad teams. That's why you had a lot of Lions fans asking about why Dan Campbell spent so much of the week ahead of the Browns matchup talking about how good the Browns are. So we're going to get something similar too in the audio. It's because the moment you start overlooking these teams, that's when they beat you. That's the whole point of the trap game thing. It's supposed to be a big win. It looks like a big win. It talks like a big win, and it walks like a big win. So it's a duck. Okay, see what I did there? The moment you start believing it's a big win, that's when it morphs into an embarrassing loss or not a duck. DVOA comparisons for Lions matchup with the Bengals. Total DVOA, Lions second, Bengals 30th. Offensive DVOA, Lions 4th, Bengals 30th. Defensive DVOA, Lions 5th, Bengals 27th. Special teams DVOA, Lions 7th, Bengals 18th. On paper, the Bengals might be the worst team the Lions have faced in the Dan Campbell era. There is a wide separation in rankings. The Bengals have rushed for a combined 200 yards in 4 games. That's 50 yards per game if you guys are keeping score at home. They lead the league in giveaways, and they're missing one of the best quarterbacks in football. All the makings of a trap game, right? The Lions may very well dominate this game, but don't expect them to come out and act like that this week. They're going to go about this game like they're playing the 1972 Miami Dolphins, and that's the way you need to approach every game because you just flat out never know in sports. For those of you that don't know, the 1972 Miami Dolphins are the only team to go undefeated in NFL history, to go undefeated from start to finish through the Super Bowl. All right, so we'll go ahead and play this audio because it goes hand in hand with what this article says.
Max Clock today. I think he's a little nervous. So
this is just about them talking about
like
Lee
I'm
McNeil.
sorry for some of those guys who are going to have to line up across from him. So he's ready to go. He's ready to start practicing. So that's good. Talking about these guys, they're 2-2, very much in this division race, looking for a win.
Oh, wait, that was my... Hold on. That was the short version. All right.
Max Clock today. Explosive. He finds nervous. So he... talking about these guys,
all right, here we go.
They're 2-2, very much in this division race, looking for a win. I've known Zach a long time, coached with Zach. What he's done out there has been pretty amazing. And, they've built something pretty special over there. So they got good players, man. 1 and 5 are good. This quarterback's capable. The back, man, he's explosive. He finds a crease. He can take it. I think 15's a crafty returner. Defensively, I've always loved Slayton up there in the middle. Hill, long time, steady, reliable, hard-nosed. Aside, certainly Hendrickson on the edge. 55 Logan. Seen it all, done it all, run and hit. So, they got some good guys, man. I think their nickel's a good player too. They got some dudes, man. So we got to be ready to go, out at their place, but we're looking forward to it.
All right. So Dan Campbell is not being a capologist, but Dan Campbell is capping. Okay? Dan Campbell is capping right now. Let's just break this down. Okay, first and foremost, this goes hand in hand with the article. The part of this And shout out to Tactical Sport, who says that we were supposed to, on paper, we were supposed to beat the brakes off the Commanders last season, and we saw what happened there. And again, I'm gonna keep saying it wasn't anything that they did. It was us turning the ball over 5 times, right? It was us just turning the ball over 5 times. Okay, one of those, like the intercept. Mikey Sanderson getting an interception off of Jameson Williams is crazy. Why? Because the ball was underthrown and Mikey Sanderson was in the trail position because he had no choice but to be in the trail position. This is Jameson Williams. Mikey Sanderson can't keep up with him. Okay, so it was that type of stuff. But anyway, I digress. This part of the article, it says, let me see which part. Oh, it's because the moment you start overlooking these teams, that's when they beat you. That's the whole point of the trap game thing, right? So the moment that you start overlooking these opponents, that's when they beat you. So Dan Campbell comes up to the podium and he says, oh, they're 2-2, right? They're in the division hunt looking for a win. What he wants to say is, man, we're going to smoke these fools. These dudes are terrible. They're a 2-pack of ass. They stink. Okay, that's what he wants to say, but that's not what he can say. What he can say is, "Oh, they're 2-2. Oh, I know Zach. You know he's a great coach. I've coached with him a long time. Let me find something for you." All right. Zach Taylor's record as Bengals head coach: 48, 53-1. He's a losing head coach. He has a losing record. Dan Campbell does not. Okay? So, oh, yeah, I know Zach. I coached with Zach in Miami, blah, 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 blah. Okay? What he wanted to say was, this dude stinks. He's a losing head coach. I know him, but you know what I'm saying? I don't really mess with him like that. You know what I'm saying? He tried to text me for some advice before the game, and I was like, bruh, keep my name out your mouth and lose my number. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wanted to say, but that's not what he could say. All right. I'm being Dan Campbell's anger translator right now. Okay? All right. Then he says, oh, the back is explosive. Talking about Chase Brown. Oh, the back is explosive, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. Let's go back to this. DVOA, offensive DVOA. Lions 4th, Bengals 30th. The Bengals are 30th. What up, Mr. Morale 313? The Bengals are 30th in offensive DVOA. They rushed for, in 4 games, 200 yards. Not per game. Total. The Detroit Lions, largely before they got to Quinshon Judkins, who doesn't even have a real name, it's not a real person, it's a cartoon character, before he got 83 yards, they were holding competent running backs under 60 yards per game, or right at 60 yards per game. What Dan Campbell wants to say about this back, who's calling explosive and he hits the hole and he does this, that, and the third thing, what he wants to say is, man, that dude trash. That dude is trash. If that dude was any good, he'd be able to rush for more than 50 yards per game. What is going on? Okay, their whole entire offense, they line ass, okay, they're running back trash. They're nothing without Joey B. We're going to murder these dudes. These dudes are going to put up 3 points. And that's being generous. We're going to spot them 3. Just so it makes it look better. Okay? Just so we look, we can't be accused of running up the score. Okay? That's what he wants to say. All right. So now he talks about the defense. Okay? And defensive DVOA, we are 5th. They are 27th. Okay? Any ranking in defense that has you in the bottom 5 We're top five. They're bottom five, right? We are fifth. They're 27th. They're bottom five, right? Because there are 32 teams. All right. So he talks about, oh, I know this is the only guy that he talked about in this defense that he was actually telling the truth about was Trey Hendrickson. We know Trey Hendrickson is a perennial 17 sack guy. Okay. We know this about him. This is why everybody wanted him on the team. Okay. But listen, after today or after this game, what should be happening, okay, is he should be trying out for the Detroit Lions while he is in Cincinnati and while we are there and playing against them. Because he should be putting some good film on tape so that we can go ahead and make a move a little bit later in the season at the trade deadline. All right. So what he wants to say is, yeah, you know, we out here basically to scout Trey. That's really the reason that we're coming out to Cincinnati. I mean, they say we got a football game to play, but we don't really have a football game to play, right? It's really just like practice. Right, it's gonna be like 7-on-7, the way we passing the ball up and down the field, running the ball up and down the field. Because these dudes' defense is trash. It's garbage. It's one of the worst defenses in the league, as we said. DVOA of 27th. It's not good at all. So Trey Hendrickson, if you get this message, go ahead. You know, show up, show out. Don't hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? Don't do too much damage. You know, we ain't trying to get no sacks of Jared Goff going on, but you can get close. You can get close. You can affect the game a little bit. Okay, that'll be acceptable enough for us to say, okay, yeah, this is the type of dude we want on our team, so we can go ahead and pick up the phone at the trade deadline. You know what it is. These are the things that Dan Campbell wants to say about the Cincinnati Bengals, and the things that he did say are very, very different than the things that he wants to say, because he has to be professional. He has to go up there and he has to say these things. But while he also has to say these things in front of the media, he is saying these things in front of his team. Because again, just like I'm the anger translator, okay, I think I did a pretty good job. What y'all think? The anger translation situation. As I was thinking of making that a series. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. I think I could do it, because all we have to do is listen to, you know, he's got a press conference like every morning, right? So I got a ton of material. Anyway, that's what he has to say to his team. He has to tell his team these things, okay? Because you can get complacent. Your job as a head coach, you're a CEO, you're a manager. You have to manage personalities. You have to manage players. Now, here's the thing about the mouse traps. I'll get to, hold on, let me get to some of y'all comments. Brenda Woods says MCDC is being nice to a dumpster fire, LOL. Facts. Will Murray says, you mean the Osama bin Johnson sabotage game? You got to put Osama in there. Now, I'm going to say I'm the first one to come up with the Osama bin Johnson name. Okay? I just want to let y'all know that Osama bin Johnson has made it to Woodward Sports. It has made it to Facebook. It has made it to Google search. If you go to a Google image search, you will see Ben Johnson's picture right next to Osama bin Laden. Okay, so I think we're making some waves over here at Motor City Cats with these nicknames. All right, but make sure you say it right. Don't just type in Ben Johnson. You got to type in Osama bin Johnson, because that's his name, always and forever. All right, you mean the Osama bin Johnson sabotage game? That one. What up, though, Mr. Brown? 3-on-3. Diarrhea explosive is the Bengals. Facts. Come on, we all know that Melvin isn't trading for Hendrickson. I mean, he may not be trading for Hendrickson, but that's the purpose. We out here to scout. Okay, we just out here to scouting. We not out here, you know, taking care of business. Yeah, we're gonna take care of business, hopefully, but we out here to scout. So the thing about the mousetraps is, he said that Bill Parcells, when he was coaching for him, and he felt like it was a trap game, he would walk into the facility and there's mouse traps. He's like, it was thousands of mouse traps everywhere. It's hanging from the ceiling, hanging from the walls, whatever. Now, I'm pretty sure Bill Parcells didn't do this himself. So whoever he did get to do that, I hope was paid handsomely. Because first of all, who's going to go out and buy 1,000 mouse traps? Second of all, who's going to string them up and hang them from the ceiling and the walls and the doors and who's going to do all that? And how long did it take to do all that? That's the question. Okay. Now, the reason I'm asking that question is because the tremendous amount of effort that you have to go through to remind these players that this is a game that you should take seriously and you should not overlook this opponent just because they are, and I quote, 30th in total DVOA, 30th in offensive DVOA, 27th in defensive DVOA, and 18th in special teams DVOA. Okay, so they're just bad. But here's the thing with the Lions, and this is where the culture part comes in. He said, but we don't have to do that with these guys because we're fortunate to have gotten them basically at the beginning of their football careers, the beginning of their NFL careers when they were basically puppies, right? So we've been able to get them, shape them, and mold them. And now when it's a game against an opponent that's lesser than, we don't have to go out, send out the quality control dudes or the gophers, as they call them, right? Go out, grab a bunch of mouse traps, come back to the facility and spend all night here stringing it, like running it through a string and then hanging these things up all over the facility. Okay, we don't have to go through that amount of effort because we've already done the work instilling this culture. We've already done the work with Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, now Jameson Williams, and so on and so forth, who are the young guys. Okay, and I didn't mention people like Alex Anzalone. I did mention Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is the quarterback, so he's the leader by default. Okay, but the guys that came in, okay, when we got them, we drafted them, we brought them here. Okay. And then they went through a process of understanding what the culture is. So now when someone else comes in, when Tyleek came in, right, it was Ali McNeil who was talking to him about what he needed to do. Right. When Tate Ratledge came in, it was Penei Sewell who was talking to him about what he needed to do. When Isaac Tesla came in, it was Jameson Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown talking to him about what he needed to do, and so on and so forth. So this is what I mean, right? The culture that has been established is the reason why the Detroit Lions are no longer susceptible to trap games. You can't trap a man who's always aware of the trap. Right? You can't trap a man who's always aware of the trap. I can't fall into a trap if I'm aware of it. Right? If I walk into a room and I observe my surroundings as I'm walking into the room, I can ascertain, is this a trap or not? Is this a good situation or not? Should I leave right now? Should I stay? Right? So the Lions know when to leave, when to stay. And that's why they are no longer susceptible to trap games. Now, one thing that you are I don't want to say not in control of, but it can be in your control and out of your control at the same time. You can hype yourself up as much as you want. Hold on, let me get to some of your comments. Mr. Lupe Lion 17 says, "What's good, Don P? Can you please shout out my kids, Lalani and Mateo? Shout out Lalani and Mateo. What are we shouting them out for?" I shout them out. But what are we shouting them out for? What do you think about the CB room from Cleveland? What do you think about the CB from Cleveland that got released? Let's see. Let me go back here. All right, get here and it's here here. And we'll go right here. All right. Who got released from Cleveland? Shedeur Sanders angers fans and loses the plot with immature interaction. Of course. So Shedeur Sanders is clapping back at Rex Ryan. The Browns are linked to Russell Wilson trade to try to save the season. All right. Trying to figure out who. I don't have it. Which cornerback got released from Cleveland? Cameron Mitchell? Yeah, 14 hours ago. The Cleveland Browns cut ties with struggling cornerback Cameron Mitchell after a recent roster shakeup. If he's struggling in Cleveland, no. That's going to be my answer. I mean, how does that work? I don't know. Because it could be a twofold situation, right? He's struggling in Cleveland where everybody seems to struggle, but he's struggling as a defensive player on the number one defense. Maybe it's too much pressure for him because it's the number one defense. So do you really want to bring that guy into your team? Because our defense, top five. Okay? Right now, we may be number 5 in the top 5, but we're top five. So, nah, that's not somebody I want to bring in. Cameron Mitchell, yes. Appreciate you, Motown Arts and Travel, or Here's Johnny. Let's see. Need an honest answer. Who do you see that when you look at them, you say, that's a definite loss? No one anymore. Yeah, because you said for me that was the Ravens. I really think we can play with anyone. Yeah, after the Ravens game, after we sacked Lamar Jackson 7 times, and after it looked like we had an actual solid plan to stop a mobile quarterback, and not just any mobile quarterback, the premier mobile quarterback, the premier dual threat quarterback, the premier quarterback in the NFL. If you just go on quarterback rating, right? It has the highest in NFL history, tied with old Aaron, right? So no one. There's no one on the schedule. And I'm like, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. Right? There's nobody on the schedule anymore. That was shut down when we dominated Lamar Jackson and dominated the Ravens in the trenches. That ain't the way that I fun. Breaking news: JMO 2 TDs this week. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if you had 3. Because these boys are cheeks. All right. So now, what I was saying about the thing that you sometimes you can't control. Sometimes you think that you have it under control, but your energy levels, right? If we look back at the Bills game from last season, the Bills from last season came into Ford Field with a certain type of energy that we just didn't match. We didn't match the energy from the beginning of the game. Obviously, we made a frenzied comeback attempt. It came down to recovering an onside kick and scoring a touchdown, but we didn't recover the onside kick. right? And sometimes what happens, just like what happened in the Bills game, when you get touched by a smooth criminal, no, when you get hit by a team that is out here looking to punch you in the mouth and your energy level doesn't match theirs, for whatever reason, it's a crazy, crazy phenomenon. I don't want to just say in sports. It's a crazy phenomenon, I think, in the NFL, when you just get out energized. It takes you like a whole entire half to match that energy. It may take you 3/4. It may be that you never match it at all. It's usually not a quick turnaround. It's usually, and you would think, okay, they came out drive number 1, super duper hype, and we just fell flat, right? It's like, just come out the next drive and match their energy. But it just doesn't work that way for whatever reason. I don't know. But number one, I don't think that the Bengals are capable of energy. Number two, I don't think the Bengals are capable of believing that they're going to go punch somebody in the mouth. Okay. And number three, I think the embarrassment of losing to the Bengals, as you are a 3-1 team, right? And you are at the top of your division, would be too much to bear. So if they come out super hype, drive number 1, well, you've got to match that. You got to match that energy. And that's the only thing that I would say. A trap game is about overlooking the opponent, mostly. But then you have a lack of energy game like we had against the Bills last season. So hopefully we don't come out with a lack of energy, and hopefully we are matching everything the way that it needs to be matched up. All right. Wild prediction: J-Mo throws a TD this week. No, that's a terrible prediction. I don't ever want to see J-Mo throw another pass again. Okay, unless he's been spending the entire offseason working with Mark Brunell or a quarterback coach of a different name. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear about it. So Dolo Dynamite, we are not going to sign Asante Samuel. He is injured, but his injury is a neck injury. So it's early this month. I think actually in a few days they're going to, because he had like surgery, I think. So it was like spinal fusion, something. Okay. So they're going to check to make sure that the fusion took properly so that he could resume his career. But that one, that might be even a little bit too much for Brad to come down and say, hey, yeah, let's sign this injured player. I don't know about that. Spinal fusion is not something we need to play with. Facts. I went back and watched some film, and Tate Ratledge is putting in real work. I think that with time, he may become our second best O-lineman. Big facts, bro. Tate Ratledge against Mason Graham. Shout out Easy Woodward Heavyweights. He showed that tape, and Tate Ratledge was whooping Mason Graham's ass. I mean, he was whooping his ass, and you know, Mason Graham was, you know, that's my guy, the Michigan guy and everything. But you play in Cleveland now, so you know. It's not like he went to Cleveland on his own. So, you know, it's not like Osama bin Johnson, who had choices and he made the wrong decision. But yeah, Tate Ratledge was pretty much manhandling him, bro. So I think, as you said, with time, he could be the second best offensive lineman. And again, he's right next to the best offensive lineman that we have. So, I mean, imagine that. You putting in work, and you got this guy, Penei Sewell, in your ear about what you need to do, you know, and how to be a dog. That's crazy, right? So, yeah, I think I think we need to keep him over there at right guard and not try to fool around and move him to center. I think we need to draft the center or trade for a center in the offseason or whatever the case may be. But I don't want to move Tate Ratledge. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. Obviously, Graham Glasgow, longer in the tooth. He's getting up there in age, and he's going to need to be replaced very, very soon. But, I mean, the job that he's doing this season is solid. He's doing a solid job, you know. That first game was bad. Maybe that is a reason why, you know, maybe they need to play in the preseason. Okay? Maybe they need to do that so that they can get, you know, they basically had two rookies coming in. You know, Christian Mahogany and Tate Ratledge. You know, they needed the extensive snaps in the preseason. Was it DJ and Sicko when Thriller came out? November 82, 55 clubs. That came out a couple months after I was born. Oh, Soko. MJ's dear friend Diana Ross grew up in the Brewster Wheeler Projects, FYI. That was back when you could make it out of the projects. I mean, you still can, you know, in certain capacities, but yeah. All right. So what other news do we have to cover with the Detroit Lions? Oh, yes, the DJ Reed situation. Let's get into that. Agreed, tired of seeing preseason rust in the first game. Facts. All right, Lions DJ Reed lands on the IR. When is the earliest he can return? This is from Sideline Report by Michael Kalwander. All right. Eager Detroit Lions fans have been waiting to hear the latest update on starting cornerback DJ Reed's injury. The latest update wasn't what they wanted to hear. The Lions announced on Wednesday that Reed will be placed on the injured reserve. Reed suffered a hamstring injury during the fourth quarter of the Lions' 34-10 victory over the Cleveland Browns this past Sunday. This injury came not long after Reed intercepted his first pass as a member of the Lions, setting them up for a goal-to-goal position, which the Lions converted to bring the lead to 17-7. Okay, Lions announced, this is from the Lions Twitter. So Lions announced roster moves, place CB DJ Reed on a reserve injured, signed safety Lauren Strickland and linebacker Ty Summers to the active roster from the practice squad, signed CB Trey Flowers and CB Nick Whiteside to the practice squad. So the Lauren Strickland thing, I don't understand unless your plan is to start Rock Ya-Sin as your number 2 cornerback, because we know that Amik Robertson is going to be starting number 1. So Reed going on the IR is not an unexpected move, but given the varying degrees of hamstring injuries, there were hopes Reed could only miss 1 or 2 games. Nah, not if you carted off. I'm sorry. Now on the IR, Reed will miss a minimum of 4 games. For fans wondering if the bye week counts for those games, the answer is no, because it's not a game. Reed has to miss 4 games, which means the earliest he'll be able to return is week 10 versus the Washington Commanders on November 9th. On November 9th. Hashtag, if you know, use the hashtag. When he returns, Reed will likely see a replenished defense with the impending return of defensive tackle Aleem McNeil, whose practice clock has just begun. To supplement moving Reed to the IR, the Lions added veteran cornerback Trey Flowers and Nick Whiteside to their practice squad. Flowers has played 95 games across 7 seasons in the NFL, notably with the Cincinnati Bengals, where he played in the Super Bowl. What is that? 54 loss or 56 loss? I think it was 56 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. The Michigan-born and Saginaw Valley State alumni Whiteside has only played in 2 NFL games, both in 2023 with the Commanders. Lions do get good news on Terrion Arnold. Reed wasn't the only starting cornerback who was injured on Sunday. Terrion Arnold left the game in the third quarter with a shoulder injury. Head coach Dan Campbell was non-committal about Arnold's injury status after the game, only suggesting that it was better than Reed's and that he may not miss much time. On Wednesday, Arnold was listed as a limited participant in practice, which is a sigh of relief for a depleted secondary, especially with safety Kirby Joseph being listed as a non-participant into the same practice report with a knee injury. Reed was the Lions' biggest free agent signing this past offseason as the team attempted to solidify their cornerback unit to complement their elite safeties. With Reed out, the team's depth will be tested. Having Arnold back and given the opportunity to grow should help limit the damage while Reed is gone. Arnold, if he plays, will have his work cut out for him on Sunday. Despite the Cincinnati Bengals' struggles on offense, wide receiver Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are still among the most talented at their position. After that, it's matchups against the Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Minnesota Vikings before Reed is eligible to return. Each has a passing game that will pose a challenge. The Lions are not expected to make a splashy move to replace Reed, again, trusting their depth on defense. Thankfully, Reed's injury is not a season ender, and Arnold looks like he won't miss time. These next few weeks will be a great opportunity for Arnold to justify why the Lions picked him in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. So if Arnold is not going to miss any time, then your number one is going to be Amik Robertson. Your number two is going to be Terrion Arnold, who is already the number two. So the Lauren Strickland thing, I don't know. Is it just depth? I thought that the depth was Avonte Maddox and Rock Ya-Sin for safeties. So not exactly sure, but we will see what happens. As far as Terrion Arnold, it may be a benefit for him to sit this one out. Because while he won't be lined up on Jamar Chase, he'd be across from T. Higgins. But then again, you got T. Higgins versus Rock Ya-Sin. You got T. Higgins versus Khalil Dorsey, right? Khalil Dorsey, bro, I understand that Khalil Dorsey is a valuable, he's a valued special teams member. And the coaches love him and all this other stuff. Just because you love somebody doesn't mean that they need to be out there starting or playing or getting snaps in coverage. Khalil Dorsey is not a good cover corner. He may be a special teams ace. He may be all these other things. But as far as coverage, no. We don't want to see it. Look, remember, we have evidence of this. There was the Jerry Jacobs and the Khalil Dorsey situation that happened, right, in the season that we had Cam Sutton out there. Khalil Dorsey got an opportunity for a very limited amount of time, and then we saw Jerry Jacobs for the rest of the way. That tells you something. It tells you that we do not want to see Khalil Dorsey out there, because for what? Okay, so yeah, I do think that Terrion would benefit from being able to sit this one out and to just kind of take a beat and clear his mind and get out of his head whatever it is, because none of this that we've seen, the poor play and everything, he did bounce back against the Ravens then in the second half just to come out and have a pretty poor first half against the Browns. So I don't know what's going on with him, but this isn't what Coach Shep said about him, right? This isn't what Amon-Ra St. Brown said about him. This isn't what Jameson Williams said about him during the training camp. This isn't it. this what we're seeing was not what was being reported out of the clubhouse. What was being reported out of the clubhouse was that the most improved player was Terrion Arnold, right? That things were slowing down for him, that he was figuring it out, that he was providing, again, his trademark sticky coverage. Okay, and I keep going back to this. Jeffrey Namumbo, oh hell no Kuda, ain't never had no sticky coverage. He never had good technique. He was never in phase. He's trash. He's garbage as a cornerback. Phenomenal linebacker. Boy, if y'all don't go and change that man's position to linebacker right now, okay? Let's hope that the Minnesota Vikings don't figure out that they need to play that man a linebacker by the time we play him, because we're in trouble. Because that man will knock you out. He will concuss you, especially if you are on his team. If you are his teammate, boy, just ask Kirby Joseph and ask others. He will take you out, bro. He's a tackling machine. He said, keep it a buck. I keeps it real. Tactical Sports says, well, hopefully Kirby plays, but I think we can afford to not have him against the Bengals. Not saying that they don't have wide receivers. They just don't have a QB that can get them the ball. I want Kirby in there because I want him to pad his lead, right? I want him to get about 3-4 picks. Jake Browning will throw them to him. He'll throw them to him. Guaranteed. Dolo Dadame says, are you trading for Rick Woolen? So the issue with Rick Woolen is this. He had like one good season, and then like he got benched the next season. I don't know which player he is. I don't know if he's the player that had that really good season or if he's the player that got benched. So if we're saying we'll give you a 7th rounder for him, yeah, I'll take him. I'll take a flyer. You know, because it's a 7th rounder. Let's just see what he has. Question, do you think that it would be beneficial once DJ Reed comes back to move TA to the nickel? We'll have to see what he looks like by the time DJ Reed comes back, because we're talking about 4 games. If he has started looking more like last year's second half Terrion Arnold, then I would say no. If he's continuing to struggle throughout these matchups, these 4 matchups, then I would say, yeah, you got to do something. What up, the Lion King? Said teams not used to winning like we used to be can be trapped. So you missed the whole thing about why I said they couldn't be trapped. You missed the entire trapped presentation. It was very compelling. Just ask everybody in the chat. What you doing with Rakestraw? Leaving him on IR? I mean, at the end of the day, here's my thing about Rakestraw. Rakestraw didn't really do anything his first season because he was hampered with injuries. He's missing this entire season due to injury. He's still under contract. So you give him another opportunity. I say the third time's the charm, as they say. So the third season, he misses significant time with injury. You got to let him go. The third season, he comes in and he plays a full season and he shows you promise, and he shows you why you drafted him. Then you keep him. But I don't think at this point in time we should be making decisions about Ennis Rakestraw. I think he comes back next year, especially because Brad Holmes drafted him. And he's a cornerback, and we need depth. If he can't do anything, which, I mean, his injuries were very, he ran into Marcus Davenport or something and got a chest contusion. And I forget what happened to him with this injury that put him out for the entire season. But, yeah, right now I don't think that we can. There we go. So it is mailbag time. I'll do the mailbag, but we've got one already. So mailbag, what you gonna do What you gonna do when they reading you? Mailbag, mailbag, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. All right. So we got mailbag from Mr. Detroit City. He says, mailbag, do you think DJ Reed will come back taller than before or no? I do not believe so. I do not believe so. If he did, then I want to know what he did. They can trade Rakestraw for a bag of chewed bubble gum. I don't think that's gonna work. Like I don't think that's gonna get us anything. A bag of at least like a pack of bubble gum so you can actually chew it yourself. I don't want something that's already been chewed. I don't mess with ABC gum. Zach J says, I already forgot about Rakestraw. Yeah. It's easy to forget when you're on the IR. You can't make the club in the tub. That's what they say. Enlighten Me just came on about Trap Game. Well, Lion King, you're gonna have to rewind because it's mailbag time, and we about to go ahead and shut it down. So it's on tape. We put it on film. Mr. Detroit City says it depends on who chewed the gum. Honestly, you are correct. You are correct. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. Not gonna say I've never chewed it. Just sharing the art, listening to Depeche Mode's How Does It Feel Now? Go Lions. One big old bag of Christian Harper chew. Now that is probably worth some more than Rake. We probably could get some money for it. Yeah, you know, and hey, the thing about it is though, why would you need to trade Rakestraw for it? I mean, it's Jared Goff's wife. He can just tell her to sell it. You know what I mean? Give the money to the team. Yeah. So it's going to have to be someone who's outside of the team that would need something for it. Mr. Morale 313, what's the word on Asante Samuel Jr.? The last I knew is he had a spinal fusion in his neck. He had a surgery. And I think that they're supposed to be reevaluating what the status of that is. Like, did the fusion take properly? Can he resume playing this season? I think they're supposed to do that within the next couple of days. So that was the word on him. Mailbag over under 2 TDs for Gibbs over. It's the Bengals. But if you didn't see them against the Minnesota Vikings, remember that was in the NFC North report. I still got to put theirs out. I did put out the Chicago Bears NFC North report earlier today. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch that after this show, please go ahead and do that. Support the NFC North report. We're trying to get it off the ground. So whenever you see it come across your feed, even if you haven't seen it come across your feed, just know that it's there. It's a whole playlist. It's got about 10 videos in it now. So I'm doing the NFC North report so that you guys don't have to watch the games, but you can still be informed about what is going on within your division. So make sure you go and check that out. And share it. Share it with everybody else. But if you didn't see them against the Minnesota Vikings with Carson Wentz as quarterback and the score was 48-10, you should go and watch that game. And then you'll have all the confidence in the world that everybody can go off. Detroit just put Emmanuel Mosley on IR and he's not even on the team. You never thought of that? Good point. Hey, babe, go to Costco, get some more Hubba Bubba. Speaking of Mosley, is he on a team? If not, and he is healthy, take a flyer on him. Vets minimum. He's not on a team, but I mean, I don't know, man. Vets minimum. Can you give him? Can you give him an IOU and see if he can make it through a few games before you give him the vets minimum? Mr. Detroit City says, watch Oh hell no, Kuda send a late night text to a current player asking if they think the Lions would ever have him back. Yeah, right. He wanted to come back to the NFC North and play with the Vikings because he wanted to smoke. Okay, and we'll give it to him. Pause. Who is more of a dumpster fire, Cleveland or Cincinnati? I would say Cincinnati is more of a dumpster fire because at least Cleveland can hang their hat on defense. Right? They've got something, they've got some identity. Cincinnati just is the bungles. They just bungle. Like hell no, little Jeff kick rocks. Mosley is in a hospital or urgent somewhere if I had to guess. Wind blew too hard this morning. Doc took money out again. I shouldn't laugh, but it was funny. Okuda gets the Jazzy Jeff treatment. Facts. Is Jerry Jacobs available? I think he is. Well, maybe, because the last thing I knew, he was on the Rams. I think he was on the Rams last year. I don't know what his current status is. Wow. Rumor has it he got fired from State Farm. Bad coverage. And with that one, we're going to get out of here. That is the zinger of the day. Dude can't catch a break. The one player that will not accept under any circumstance is Will Harris. Oh, my goodness. Now we got to go. Now we got to go. All right. He said Will Harris. He invoked the name of that demon, Will Harris. All right. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I appreciate you all for coming through. I won't be here tomorrow, but I will be back Friday. So once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And we are out. Peace.